Good evening. It is I, your boss, your ruler, the Titan of Terror, the Foreman of Fear, the Sultan of Sin, the one that you love to hate, yet love to imitate. Have you committed adultery or fornication today? Have you mistreated anyone, including that man you flipped off in traffic, knowing that you were the one who was wrong? Have you stolen anything today? Murdered someone? Told a lie? Gossip about someone? Or was just plain rude for no reason at all? If you answered yes to any or multiple of these things, welcome to the club. Have a beer and enjoy. I just claimed the soul of a war casualty that was waging havoc in a remote village, molesting women and stealing from the locals will earn you a short and quick ride down here with me once that bullet or shrapnel enters your body. Honestly, I don't know whose ego is worse. The so-called leaders that think their militia is better than another country's, or the soldiers that fight for them. If I were human, this would be a travesty. But I'm not, so please kill away. But enough about that. I know why you're here. You're here to listen to another rousing story of how I tortured the world in another event in time. I suppose I could tell you about the Salem witch trials that I inadvertently caused. You humans say that imitation is the highest form of flattery, and I honestly couldn't agree more. That's why I welcome worship or any kind, even if they are misled. This seems to be the case in those trials too. Now that was a spectacle. A true masterclass in human stupidity, paranoia, and hypocrisy. 3 of my favorite pastimes. You see, I wasn't actually in Salem at the time. I was busy in Europe watching some nobles poison each other over inheritance disputes. Classic stuff. But when I heard the Americans were running their own little panic party in my name, well, I just had to tune in. At first, I thought it was one of my demons pulling a prank. But no, it was just humans being humans. Apparently, a couple of preteen girls figured out that flopping on the floor and speaking gibberish got them attention, something I fully support, by the way. And instead of some sensible adult telling them to cut it out and go do their chores, the whole town collectively lost its mind. Witchcraft, they cried. The devil is among us. Oh, please. As if I set foot in a town that didn't even have decent ale. But you know what really got me? The so-called judges, men of wisdom, allegedly. They were so desperate to prove their piety that they started rounding up people based on the logic of a squirrel on moonshine. She looked at me weird. Guilty. She owns a cat. Guilty. She muttered something under her breath. Guilty. She baked bread too well. Extra guilty. Honestly, it was getting embarrassing. I mean, I like a good moral collapse as much as the next Prince of Darkness, but even I have standards. The whole thing was like watching a bunch of clueless kids try to play chess, but accuse the pieces of witchcraft whenever they lost. Then came the trials. Oh, the trials. You think these folks were auditioning for a farcical courtroom drama. Dunk her in the river. If she drowns, she's innocent. Ah, yes, the legal equivalent Of heads I win, tails you lose. Genius. And let's not forget my personal favorite, the spectral evidence rule. If some random villager thought that they saw your ghost doing witchy things in their dream, congratulations, you were on trial for your life. Oh, Abigail Williams had a dream that Goody Proctor danced with a goat. Off to the noose. It was like convicting someone for thinking about jaywalking. The best part, I didn't actually do anything. This was all them. My hands were clean. Well, as clean as they can get anyway. They dragged their neighbors out of their homes, accused them of literally impossible crimes, and then executed them just to be safe. All the while, they kept invoking me like I was sitting in the courtroom with a clipboard taking notes. Ah yes, dunking the old woman in a pond. Very original. 10 points for creativity. By the time the hysteria died down, and people started realizing that maybe, just maybe, they made a few mistakes, I was howling with laughter. A governor finally stepped in and said, "Hey guys, maybe we should stop taking dream testimony as legal proof." And suddenly, everyone looked around like, yeah, that makes sense. You don't say. So what's the lesson here? Well, if you're hoping I'll say something deep and reflective, you clearly don't know me. But let's just say, if you're going to blame me for something, at least make sure I'm actually involved. Otherwise, you humans might just do a better job of damning yourselves than I ever could. And with that, I leave you to your own misdeeds. Be rude, be reckless, and remember, history repeats itself. So who knows, maybe in 100 years, you'll find a whole new way to accuse each other of nonsense. And when you do, I'll be watching. That's all the precious time I have today for you fools. If you like what you heard, please feel free to follow me if you're not doing that already. And please tell your friends about me. Advertising can be such hell.